Today is May 15th. You're not gonna see this till the 16th. You know the drill. I'm getting ready for work right now. I don't remember if I vlogged last night. I'm really tired. Today is my Thursday. I have to be on the road here in about 30 minutes, so I better step on it, huh? I'm still testing out this NYX Honey Do Me Up stuff. I like the way that it smells, and so far, I mean, I don't notice anything bad about it. I mean, we'll find out in a couple of weeks if I break out from it or not. I need to start using like a skin or face oil or whatever. I've used that Tarte Maracuja oil I got from Ipsy. I mean, it was okay, but I feel like it was breaking me out. I don't know if that's something that actually happens because it's not supposed to, or if it's just the timing of, you know, my skin. This kind of makes your skin feel tacky, but not like really bad. It's manageable. I got a mark right here on my nose. It's kind of cold out today. It's starting to frustrate me because it's supposed to be, you know, we're halfway through May, and next week the temperature is supposed to be in the 50s, which I don't understand. I just don't understand. But, you know, nothing I can do about it except dress warm. It's weird to me because next month is summer. Next month, June whatever, June 20 something, I'm pretty sure, summer begins, and next week we're gonna be in the 50s. I don't know, go figure, right? Go in with the blender. Here we go. I wanted to stop and get something to eat, but I don't have time to do that. I watched a video, a makeup tutorial video. The thing with makeup tutorial videos is I feel like a lot of them aren't really actual tutorials, because I'm interested in learning techniques when it comes to makeup application, not necessarily like looks. I'm interested in like how, like, better ways to blend, better ways to keep your makeup lasting. I feel like a lot of them just show you putting their makeup on, and there's no, you know, there's no steps to it, I guess. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But I watched a tutorial, or maybe like a tips tutorial or whatever, I don't remember. But it was that Tati, T-A-T-I. I don't know if I'm subscribed to her. Anyway, she gave a tip on how to blend eyeshadow. Of course, I don't know how to blend. I feel like the best tip I can give is, once you think you're done blending, keep blending. Because more than likely it's not blended out. And I do agree, I don't like harsh lines, like, you know, I like it to gradually fade out. So her tip was, you know, of course use your primer, your eyeshadow primer, and then on top of that use the setting powder that you use on your face. So for me, I use Ulta pressed setting powder. So I just kind of pick some up on a brush and go over that, just kind of to set that eyeshadow, I guess, to get ready to set whatever shadow you're going to be using. And lately, I mentioned it last night, I'm really liking browns, like mattes. So I used the Bubs Beauty palette again today, and I mean, I feel like I did a pretty decent job at blending, but who knows, I guess, I don't know. Even if somebody were to tell me, I'd be like, oh darn, and I'd try to fix it. If it doesn't fix, I'm over it. So I use that, and the powder on powder blending, like kind of doing that, makes it easier to blend. I have to agree with that. Do you guys ever see the news or read the news and become really worried about the state of the world. I tried to read, different news like websites and stuff like that, so that I'm not just, one-sided when it comes to my news. But I started getting news alerts on my phone because I opted to get them on my phone. And a lot of the times it's just so sad and concerning just how much bad news and awful, terrible things are happening in this world. I was getting ready this morning and a news alert popped up on my phone, and it's like an application or something like that, basically saying that, based on the different sites that I'm reading, one site says that the U.S. accused Syria of creating a cremation facility to cremate bodies. And I'm like, what in the world? And it's scary. And then there's also news about North Korea and how they're doing missile testing, trying to hopefully get a missile to the US. And I'm like, it's some scary stuff. And when I think about the stuff that happens, to me on a daily basis, they all seem so small and puny in comparison. And it's hard not to. I remember when I was little, I used to be so scared. I think I was probably like 7, and I used to think, what if a war happens, and what am I gonna do? What's gonna happen to my family? Do I need to hide? Like, I was thinking about this stuff when I was 7 years old, and I remember I was scared to go to sleep at night because the thoughts would keep me awake. And when you're 7 years old, your mind wanders. Like, I don't know if anybody thought that when they were 7. I remember telling Sam about it, and he was kind of thinking that was weird for a 7-year-old to be thinking when they should be playing with, toys and whatever. I don't know. And I don't know. And now as an adult, and you read all this horrible news about potential war and not really potential war, but stuff that could cause a war, it's scary. And I know some people are they say it's not going to happen. The US is really cautious. But again, going back to what you read in the news, depending on which site you're reading, or which news station or whatever news, there's depending on what type of news you follow, it could be all for one person or all against one person. So it's hard to not think the worst when it comes to stuff like that. And with everything that's going on in overseas and the stuff that you read, it's scary. And you hope that this is just kind of scare tactics, I guess. I don't know. I don't even want to say you hope that it's going to be scare tactics, because it's definitely working, because I'm scared over here. When I read that news thing that popped up on my phone, it just made me sad and just feel awful for the state of the world. I remember Sam asked me a couple days ago, he asked, what do you think God would think of us? And I was like, I wouldn't blame him for ending the world, because we as a human race, I feel like it's just, I don't know, it's just, if God decides to have the world get hit by an asteroid, it's because we're stupid, and because he decided to extinguish us because we're just a stupid idiot race that you know, does awful things to each other and awful things to animals, and we're just awful. And I can say that because I'm human. It's funny because when I wanted to tell you guys this. When we were on our trip to Sedona the other day, it was Sam and I, the Jeep driver, the tour driver, the whatever, and two other ladies. And we had left the facility when we, you know, when the tour started. We had to pick up two other tourists. So we drove and we went to go pick them up in the vehicle, and we started. That's when we started the tour. So we got there, and there were two Caucasian ladies, elderly, I guess, and they got in the vehicle, and the one of the ladies asked if we were Native. And I mean, I don't take offense to that question. It's kind of like, oh yeah, you know, some people do when you're asked if you're Native. I don't really know why, because it's not really, in my opinion, offensive to ask if we're Native, because I'm proud of my heritage. Anyway, so they got in and they asked us if we were Native, and Sam answered yes. He was like, oh yeah. And the lady, the older lady of the two, Tommy, she actually asked us if we were gonna scalp her, and we just kind of were like, huh? And apparently the tour guide heard this, so we just kind of laughed it off. What about the tour? And then she asked Sam, because Sam, my husband, he's half Navajo, he's a quarter Apache, and he's a quarter Wallapai, but he's full-blooded Native American. So he asked, or one of the ladies asked him, "Are you what tribe are you from?" or something. I can't remember how she phrased it. And he basically answered, basically the different tribes. And she was serious when she said this. She said, "That's terrifying." And my husband, for those of you who know Sam, he can look intimidating because he's a big guy, but he's the nicest person you'll probably ever meet. And it was just so weird, and I think I felt like it made me feel bad for the lady, because if that was stuff she actually believed, you know, that we still go around scalping people, or I don't even think that was the Navajo tribe that did that. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it was so weird that she, like, it honestly seemed like she had this perception of Native Americans, and like it was still true to this day. Tommy! And yeah, and then she said that he was terrified, or it was terrifying that he was of these different tribes, and we just, you know, left it at that. And then even after we dropped them back off, because we picked them up from a hotel, it was like a service. The tour could pick them up, the tour guide could pick them up at the hotel. So after they were dropped off at the hotel, even the tour guide was like, hey, that wasn't very, hey, Franny, come here, Franny, no, be nice. Uh-oh, I gotta take Tommy out.